All right, good Thursday afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by for a check of your forecast. I am Chief Meteorologist Corbin Voges here. It is October 23rd, year of our Lord 2025, and it's a little bit past 4 o'clock here in Amarillo. We're going to be breaking down that severe weather threat for today. It is a highly conditional concern, so I don't think it's going to be a big problem for us in the viewing area in the Texas Panhandle. Maybe the further south you go could be a bigger issue tonight. I think tomorrow is going to be our day for any kind of severe weather potential, especially inside the viewing area. So that is what we're going to be breaking down today in your full forecast. So this is a live look outside in Bushland. You can see we've got some of those weaker thunderstorms starting to work into the southwest panhandle. Again, a lot of dry air, so these storms really kind of struggling. You can see one way out there, probably in New Mexico somewhere, way off in the distance. That one seems to be in a bit better environment. Nice little overshooting top on it and a big cirrus and anvil cloud out there with that storm as it blows up probably a couple hundred miles away. But we've got more of just some weaker showers and thunderstorms right now. You can see a lot of this is what you would call virga, which is just that rain that either evaporates before getting to the ground or snow that sublimates before it gets to the ground. But that usually is a pretty good indicator of some dry air underneath some of these cloud bases. And you can see maybe a few showers surviving to the surface, but not a whole lot. Again, you're going to have to be kind of underneath one of these better updrafts in order to see some rain get down to the ground level. Looks like we've got a tiny little shower that's just come through Canyon right now. A lot of our activity is really down here in portions of southern Quay, Curry, and Roosevelt County. You can see we've got maybe some clustered thunderstorms working through Clovis right now. These are not going to produce a lot of rain, probably a tenth to 2/10 of an inch at best for tonight. It's just because we're pretty limited on the amount of moisture that we have for these storms to work with. Now, as we get into tomorrow, we'll get another day of southerly flow that's going to allow for some of these better dew points to surge in from the Gulf. That's going to help set the stage for, I think, a better opportunity for severe weather tomorrow inside the viewing area. But you can see here's our culprit, our big storm system spinning over the Four Corners area. It looks like it's mostly in southeast Utah, about to make its way over the San Juan mountain range there in southwest Colorado. And then this thing's going to kind of take a right-hand turn and dive more southeast over the next 48 hours. So that's what's going to bring all that unsettled weather, probably several rounds of rain and thunderstorms for portions of the region. Temperature right now is 68. I was kind of wondering if we were going to get to 70 degrees today in Amarillo. It was chilly this morning, and we really haven't seen any sunshine, but we do have some southerly flow that's continuing to advect some of that warm, moist air in from the south. The winds are pretty light at 0 to about 10 miles an hour, but you can see our dew point's back up to 53 now here in Amarillo. Still kind of dry up there in the northern panhandle. So we're very limited in our lower level moisture. These storms probably aren't going to be the biggest rainmakers for tonight, but high-based storms that could be severe, I think is possible. Large hail would be your bigger issue with these thunderstorms. That could be up to the size of golf balls, kind of eyeing that window between now and about midnight tonight for severe weather potential. I think it'll be quiet, though, to be honest. That's kind of my personal opinion. Inside our viewing area, I would be shocked if we have more than one or two severe storms tonight. And I think most of them will stay below severe limits. Tomorrow, while the threat level remains the same, I just think that the ingredients and parameters are going to look a lot better. So with storms that do get going, probably going to have a better opportunity to spin. That's going to at least increase the hail size. And I would not be shocked with the proximity of where the low is going to be on Friday if we don't maybe get some cold air funnels or some kind of landspout potential, maybe even a weak tornado or two with some of these stronger storms that try and get going tomorrow afternoon and evening. I know this is going to coincide a lot with those Friday night football games. I wouldn't cancel any plans, but just make it known that you're going to probably have some storms around the area. So one, you're going to want the rain jacket or that rain gear handy. Two, I would encourage you to have multiple ways to stay notified should we see any severe storms tomorrow. The storms themselves, I think most of them will stay below severe limits. Again, that marginal risk just means that it's possible to see severe weather. Slight risk meaning that we'll probably have some scattered severe storms. It really only includes Cottle and Childress County. But with the proximity of the low, I think cold air funnels, maybe even a land spout or two, is going to be something that will have something as a real possibility. Even if the storm's not severe per se, it could maybe try and produce a quick spin up just with where we're going to be at in the quadrant of that storm system. So let's go ahead and walk through the next 2 days. You can see here's some of the storminess that we've got going on right now. 5 o'clock, this stuff should start to move to the east, gets a bit better organized as it moves through Cottle and Childers County. I think if we get a severe storm today, that's going to be when it happens. Otherwise, we're going to be out here kind of babysitting some of these weaker showers and storms. As we get into Friday morning, that low starts to track across the area and it kind of centers itself over the Texas Panhandle. So here's your warm, moist sector over here on the southeast side. These storms are going to be an environment that's warm, it's going to be moist. There's a lot of spin in the atmosphere. So some embedded supercells going to be possible. They're not going to be discrete. They're going to be pretty messy. So, maybe not like a spring-like event where you get these, string of pearls, severe storms that become supercells. That we don't think is going to happen. But I do think that we could see maybe some of these, clustered storms have like a small tendency to have some spin in them, and maybe you get a quick spin up in there with some of those. It should be relatively weak. Um, but a tornado is still a tornado, whether it's an EF0 or an EF2 or 3. I think it's just the wind shear profile, the dynamics aloft probably would support something on the very weak side of things if anything does make its way to the ground level. This is 8 p.m. You can see we've got some wraparound precipitation starting to fill in. Severe weather should start to be exiting the area by 8, 9 o'clock. And then this wraparound band of moisture may just persist into the overnight hours. It's something that models have been really kind of hit and miss on, but given the placement of the low, if it is closed, usually they have a better band of wraparound precipitation that could lead to some heftier totals of rainfall across parts of the area. I think the model's got this stuff a bit displaced too far north at 8 a.m. This will probably be further south, closer to the center of the low. But as we move into the afternoon, you can see maybe some additional showers trying to redevelop. These are going to be hit and miss, very spotty. Again, this I think is way too far north displaced. This is probably going to be more back over towards Wichita Falls or back even towards maybe the DFW metro area as we get into Saturday afternoon and evening. And so by then, I would expect our rain chances to be decreasing after lunchtime. But our model certainly thinks that this thing's going to be way up north, but I'm a little hesitant to say that. Again, the trend has been further south the last several days, so I think that might be something that the model just hasn't really picked up on just yet. So here's your rain prospects for tomorrow and for Saturday. So this is Friday. Amarillo, we've got about a 60% chance to see measurable rain. The further east southeast you go, the higher those probabilities will be. Areas like Shamrock, Childers, and Paducah, you're basically guaranteed rain at this point, and it could be a lot as well. Especially if you get that deformation band to set up Friday night into Saturday morning, we could be talking about some pockets that pick up 1 to 3 inches of rain. That's something that we desperately need. I do want to show you this before we move along. Um, this is our precipitation anomalies over the last 30 days. It has been very dry as of late. Now, overall, as a whole, for the year, Amarillo is still above average, and much of the area is. But the last 30 days, for most of us, has been dry, with the exception of, say, maybe eastern New Mexico, where they've been around average. In Tucumcari, there we had that nice little complex come through last week. That again brought quite a bit of rain out here, and then it kind of fizzled apart as it shot across the Texas Panhandle. But aside from Clovis, everyone's below 100% for the precipitation anomalies over the last month, and you get into some really dry territory out here in the eastern Panhandle and back into western Oklahoma. You're talking about 10 to 30% of your rain average this last month. So getting 1 to perhaps 3 inches of rain is going to be very beneficial for you guys out there. That's something to look forward to. You do have the chance to contend with some severe weather, but that's part of it. I think sometimes when we get into fall months and we get these kind of setups. Here's your chance of rain on Saturday. Again, this is just that wraparound band that may persist into at least the first half of the day. It could persist all afternoon for places like Childress and Shamrock. It's not going to be heavy rain, but some light showers, hit and miss showers, certainly possible. Just going to be a kind of a very fall, cool, damp, dreary day, which is not a bad thing for us, and we don't really expect any severe weather heading into Saturday. So here's your 7-day forecast. 60% chance of rain tomorrow. Again, we'll still have a few scattered showers tonight. I would imagine we're probably done with the rain here in Amarillo, pending we see one of these isolated storms kind of pass a bit further to the north than what we see currently and what models are depicting. But I would imagine we're probably done in Amarillo. Areas like Tulia, Hereford, Dimmitt, back towards Silverton, you guys still have that chance for some scattered showers and storms heading into the overnight hours tonight. And then we'll have a recharged atmosphere tomorrow. and storms should favor the eastern half of the region, and then they'll slowly work their way out of the area on Saturday. As we move into next week, we've got another front that'll push through. Models still up in the air on just how potent that cold air is going to be. If you look at the Canadian model, it says we're absolutely going to have a freeze next week. If you look at the American model, it's got that big trough much further east. So all the cold air displaced much further away from us, which if that happens, we may not get down below 32 degrees. It'll be chilly for sure. It's going to be nice and cool on Wednesday. We've got you with a high of 59 for right now, but we should be under full sun, so 59 maybe not feeling terrible, but definitely a nice crisp cool day compared to where we've been for much of October. But that's really all we got. We're not going to hang around too much longer today. Again, it should be a mostly quiet one. I think these storms for the most part will stay below severe limits. Looks like we have that one severe storm out there in Debaca County that's going to be heading up to the northeast direction. See if we can't get maybe a better view of that from over here in the FDX radar. So this is a pretty narrow and small storm. There's Lake Sumner, Fort Sumner over here. It's west of that, but it does include a portion of Quay County. Go ahead and turn your scroll ticker on so you guys can see it. But there is that severe warning storm. It's again outside of the area for now. Something that we'll continue to watch. This is something that we probably saw from our Bushland sky cam. You can see maybe looking right down the interstate, you can see some of these big anvil tops. There's probably a better environment for some of those storms to be severe versus the ones that are moving through right now. So that's why that storm out there is severe. The ones out here kind of abysmal in terms of what they look like on radar. But you can see a nice little hail core in that one, seeing some really high reflectivity values that just went through Largo. That's going to be moving up towards Salado and Guadalupe. Lake Sumner eventually will move into southwest Quay County. But right now, I would imagine that we would have a relatively quiet day today comparative to tomorrow. Well, it looks like I got booted out of the chat with NWS. That was technology is great when it works. Anyway, the severe thunderstorm warning down here in Debaca County, that's going to be warned for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Again, the severe weather threat is going to be really confined kind of to this small area here as far as the hail's concerned. It's going to be right there in the core of the storm. The wind would be more of the widespread felt issue with that one. Let's go ahead and jump back down. Let's pull over Clovis's camera. See what it looks like out there. You can see some of these high base showers and thunderstorms. I don't think we've got a really true threat for tornadoes today. Again, the moisture in the lower levels is very, very limited. It looks like it's going to be kind of a hard thing to achieve, at least in the viewing area. Go ahead and spin this thing around just a little bit, see what else is going on. Oh, there was a lightning strike, a nice little CG there north of Clovis. So again, you can see here's your cloud base. You've got the rain kind of falling out over here, but these are some really high cloud bases. Rain rate's probably not extremely impressive. Friday, I think we'll have a better chance to see maybe those rain rates up to 1 to 2 inches per hour. All right, there we go. We are back into the chat now. Yeah, I think we're going to end your live here. Again, we just have the one severe warning storm. It's not even in the viewing area yet. It's in Tobacco County. It's 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. I think our threat for severe weather today, it's mostly going to be confined to hail up to about the size of probably ping pong balls and winds up to 60, 65 miles per hour. The tornado threat, it's not zero today, but it's basically negligible. As we move into tomorrow, that low gets closer. There's going to be more spin in the atmosphere. I think that'll be the day. If we see any kind of land spout or any kind of weak tornado, it'll be Friday rather than today. But if anything changes, we'll certainly jump back on to let you guys know. We're going to let you get back to your afternoon. Thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the day, and make sure you've got several ways to stay notified if you got any football games tonight as well as tomorrow.